extremes and stuff.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Jolene's Guide to Surviving the Zombie Apocalypse. I want to thank everyone for their patience. I'm trying to make sure I always make it here right at 7, but sometimes I'm working on projects to prepare myself for the zombie apocalypse. And I had to work on some weapons, which I thought is one of the reasons a lot of people tune in. Everyone likes weapons. So tonight, that's what we want to talk about. We want to talk about makeshift weapons. When you're home, you may or may not have the weapons available. Maybe or the home you're in doesn't have. So we're going to talk about what things around the home we can turn into weapons. So in saying that, what are some considerations we need to have when we're looking for our makeshift weapons at home? Love to hear from our audience on what things come to mind. What do you want to think about for what you're preparing? A lot of people will say guns right off the bat. And please go back and watch the earlier ones. No, guns are loud and ammunition is in limited supply. Same with dynamite, same with C4. And of course, not burning people. The only thing worse than a zombie chasing you is a flaming zombie burning you or chasing you. Sorry. We have, I know in my backdrop, I have large artillery shells and ammo cans. And that's because there will come a point where I need to blow some stuff up. I'm going to have to shoot some people, zombies, but that's my last resort. So 2 things that you want to take into consideration. Things that are reusable. Zombies are probably not going to come at you one at a time. So you want something you can use to kill multiple zombies, use over and over again. So think about that. The other thing is non-critical items. You do not want to use items around the home that you need to survive. I saw a lot of knives, but if you need those knives to cut food, not going to work. You also have to take into account a lot of times knives get stuck when they hit bone. You'll also need to look at blade size. Whatever weapons we are looking at, you need to be able to stab something at least 3 to 4 inches. Depending, in movies, they always show, hey, you're attacking from the front part. That controls personality. And everybody knows zombies don't have personality. That's not the part of the brain that's controlling the zombie. Chances are it's going to be back here. So if that's the case and you want to stab from the front, now you have to look at 8 inches, unless they had a really big head. And you've seen the people in class that had the really big heads. You're going to need a much longer weapon at that point. So taking into account those things, again, things that are reusable, things that are non-critical. There are actually almost every room has certain things that you can look at to turn into weapons. One being your furniture. I'm looking at, you can turn cabinet doors into shields. You can use wood parts to make spears, curtain rods, great spear. Just sharpen it, add pointed edge at the end. Any bent nails from furniture make great weapons if they're long enough. You're going to look, tabletops can become shields. Lamps make great spears, great stabbing instruments, of course. Any glass parts, those become great weapons. If you look at chairs, the seating of the chair, great shield. Legs become great spears. So, and again, you're looking at those 2 things. These are reusable. Are they critical? No. You can sit on the floor. I assure you, you'll be okay. You can't sit on the floor as a zombie. Or actually, you won't even care. So that furniture won't matter then either. So grandma's antiques make great weapons. So furniture is every room usually has furniture in it. You're going to turn that into weapons. And then we're going to look at electronics. The circuit boards in most electronics actually are really durable. You can sharpen those to a fine point, make a great spear. If you make a spear, make up your arrowheads with this, make lots of reusable ones. Then any sharp plastic pieces, like when you splinter your electronics, if they're long enough, they'll be great for stabbing. And then a lot of times the metal framework in there, that's great for stabbing too. Stabbing is our friend. We want to be able to thrust deeply a sharp item, take out a zombie brain. Pottery, nice little decorative vases. Small ones, not going to work unless you're kind of like trying to make arrowheads which would work as long as you know that you can turn some of your wood into arrows for a crossbow or something. But those tall vases that Mom likes having in the dining room, those shards make great stabbing devices. And then, of course, artwork and frame photos, great weapons, because the frames can be used for stabbing. Glass fronts can be used for stabbing. The backboard can become a shield. Canvas, people get tangled in that. Great diversion. Like, you can really use those things throughout your house to make amazing weapons. And when we're talking about those two considerations, again, things that are reusable and non-critical. That's so having covered the basics in every room, let's take a moment and let's think about each room, what you could use. I really want you all to get your creative juices going. I've been telling you, if you didn't watch last week's, please go back and watch last week's, because next week we're going to discuss some of the answers that I got, and possibly some new members of my zombie prep team. So I'm excited about that. But we were talking, every time you meet someone, you should be taking in consideration, is this a good person to be on my team? I want every time you walk into a room, hey, what in here can make a reusable weapon and is non-critical? Every time you walk into a room. Totally recommend not starting with your room, because most of the time we like our stuff. So let's talk about the dining room. What things besides furniture, pottery, artwork, those basics that we covered in the beginning, would make great makeshift weapons? Well, thing is, most dining tables have like a chandelier above them. Excellent weapons. You could probably do multiple stabbing if you plan it just right, you position people right, it'll be great. I know a lot of times they curve up. That's okay, curve it down. It's like a 360 pitchfork. Amazing. So chandeliers, great. If there's candlesticks, amazing as well. Again, if in our audience you all hear any ideas, by all means, please post them in chat so that I can make sure that when I share this later with my fans and when I'm out, I can add that to information I share with others. The next room we're going to talk about is the living room. Besides electronics, artwork, pottery, furniture, what items are unique in a living room that you could turn into a weapon? If you're sitting in your living room, look around. One of the first things I'll say is springs from your couch. Springs from your couch would be great. That metal can be twisted. One end can be sharpened. So, because you can sit on the floor again. We've already talked about the framework, the screws and stuff in furniture. But I would say living room, first thing comes to mind is the springs. The next room we'll talk about is the bedroom. Think about your bedroom. What items? I just want flaming wood. You want to be careful. Burning zombies. Flaming zombies are not your friends. The only thing worse than a zombie is a flaming zombie. So in your bedroom, if you have candlesticks, those would work great. You're actually the metal frame from your bed. Those make excellent spears. The springs from the box spring. Your box spring has not just the wood, it has nails, it has the metal from the springs, the frame from the bed. All that stuff is an excellent weapon. Mirrors, amazing. Cushions from living room, that's great. Pillows from your bed they're really not going to be great shields as much as maybe you can get somebody caught in those. That would work. But those are the items in your bedroom that can easily be turned into a weapon. Next, let's talk about the bathroom. Now, in the bathroom are a lot of hidden gems for weapons. Again, you have mirrors, you have hairbrush handles, the plunger handle, the toilet seat, awesome shield. And then if you plan it just right, like pop up, you can take it and pop it up, stab. When you bring your spear back in, lid comes back down, shield. Genius. The back of the toilet seat, or not the toilet seat, the cover on the back of the toilet, that works good. Any pipes, any plumbing work, the shower curtain doors, the handle to the shower curtain door. You have to remember, chances are you are not going to have electricity and running water, so don't hang on to things like you have them. In fact, you can take the 2x4s out of the wall. Should have brought that up with the furniture. The towel bar, that'd be great. Toilet paper holder, depends. Because remember, you're going to need something that, even after you hold it, can stab 4, maybe all the way up to 8 inches, depending on which part of the brain we really have to destroy to get that zombie. But these are all great ideas that you're all coming up with. And the next room we'll talk about is the kitchen. Anybody that's watched a scary movie knows this is the room you want to be caught in. Now, a lot of people are going to say knives right off the bat. Again, we want to make sure that anything we use is non-critical. If you're having to do any kind of food prep, you're going to need your knives. If you can get by with the small paring knife, then oh yeah, take the bigger knives. But chances are, those of you that didn't listen to me and decided to keep a pet, once that pet has to become food, you're going to need a bigger knife to have to quarter it. Or if you have to go out and put your any other livestock, you're going to need the bigger knives. So you probably don't want to use knives. Your utensils, yes, those are good. Like those particular knives or forks or spoons, you can eat with your hands. You'll be okay. Manners go out the door when the zombies come. Like we don't knock, we don't ring the doorbell. You just attack. So sink pipes, cabinet doors, what else? Any extra pots and pans. A lot of times you have a lot of utensils that you use for food prep. I would say kind of the flimsy plastic ones, just keep for food prep, and those sturdy wooden ones, turn those into spears. They are sturdy. You need to be able to stab. Plastic's not going to do it. So it'll lift soup, won't kill brains. Some other items, since you're probably not going to have electricity, pull out the electric appliances. Turn the beaters into, from your mixer, turn those into a weapon. Find the food processor and turn those blades into a weapon. The big decorative dishes, the fancy stuff. Oh yeah, take those shards and make yourself some spears. I mean, these, if you only have a short handle, but you're able to take a small shard, put it at the end, boom, great stabbing weapon. That's what we're thinking of, stabbing. We got to destroy that brain. The oven handle, other items, look at appliances. A lot of people might say parts from the fridge, but even though we won't have electricity, fridges do great at insulation. So don't destroy your fridge because you can at least keep things a little bit cooler, a little bit safer in the fridge. So leave the fridge alone. Probably not take the oven apart because you could build a fire in there and still use it to bake with, or move it outside and still use it to bake. So maybe not those 2 items to destroy, but the other things, oh yeah, it's all fair game, especially from the kitchen. The other room that you probably want to be stuck in for your makeshift weapons, the garage. Most people right off the bat are going to say a hammer, a saw, but again, reusable, non-critical items. You're still going to have to build things. So whenever you're looking at things, it's, hey, it's non-critical because you want something, you want to say, hey, I want to be able to, you need to use it like you can use it more than one time, but you also need to make the assumption you won't get it back. Once it's lodged in bone, it might not be able to pull back out. And so you don't want to lose your only hammer in some zombie's brain. Especially if there's other zombies coming, you won't have a chance to take that back out. So remember that when I say reusable, non-critical, because you're going to make the assumption you need to kill more than one zombie and you might not get it back. So again, looking in the garage, even if you have electricity because you had power, you had solar power, and you're not going to use power tools. Noise attracts zombies. So those saw blades, drill bits, those items are great. You're going to have to learn to use hand tools in this new society that's being built after the zombies anyways. So take those items. Any tools that are broken beyond repair. Let's say you have 6 hammers and you're like, well, I can spare a hammer or 2. Okay. But just know, always have a backup. And if you have 6 hammers and you're building a house, it means there's 6 people that can build. So if you only have 1 hammer, remember that. It means you only get to have 1 person hammering. But other things in the garage, if you have any shelving, the shelving will do great. You probably don't want to use bicycle parts because chances are we won't have gasoline and you're going to have to use bike as one of the mechanisms for. So think about car parts. Since you're probably not going to have to change tire irons would be great. If you have Your parents put any extra wood flooring or tile in there. Oh, perfect. That's just like a cornucopia of weapons. So use those. Extra nails, don't use the good nails. You're going to have to rebuild eventually. So go ahead, like the bent nails, use those. That'll work great. Again, like you need to be able to stab 4 to 8 inches, but if at least the first 2 inches are something that's sharp and sturdy, and behind that is a wooden handle, that'll work great. Wooden handles sharpened down, that'd be great. Shovels, hose, sports equipment. Yes, that's a great one. Golf clubs, baseball bats. These are amazing items. By all means, these are things that you could use over and over again, and chances are you're not that worried about playing softball when the zombies are coming. Oh, again, I really appreciate everyone coming in, having these great ideas on makeshift weapons. It's been a joy having my audience tonight. The ideas, again, your garage, your kitchen are ideal time frames. I see Christmas lights. Oh yeah, take that Halloween decor, that Christmas decor, turn them into weapons. So I want to thank everyone. If there's any other ideas, suggestions you have, please reach out and let me know so that I can share those with everyone else. You should be looking at your house. And again, we always say, like, you're going to perform the way you practice. So don't just assume. You might want to go ahead and start practicing making some of the items around your home into weapons. So walk in your rooms, look in there.
Mom,
yes.
Why is my bed on the floor?
Don't worry about why your bed's on the floor. You can sleep on the floor. Again, start with other people's stuff before your own. Thank you all for joining me. I will see you all next week for the next episode of Jolene's Guide to Surviving the Zombie Apocalypse.